Hi, I'm Shannon M. Turner. I'm the founder and creative director of StoryMuse, a storytelling practice based here in Atlanta. I go all over helping people tell their stories for personal and professional development. I founded my practice in 2016 in the wake of the presidential election because I kept hearing that the reason why the election was so surprising to so many people was because we operate in silos these days. And I felt like storytelling was the one thing that I could do to help people hear each other across lines of difference. But actually, it hadn't been my profession for very long. I grew up in Tennessee, in the foothills around where the International Storytelling Center exists now. But I kept getting all of those messages that you couldn't be a full-time professional artist and make it in this world. And so I kept ignoring my calling, I kept pushing it down. But storytelling was always there waiting for me in the background. And then it just felt like we were in upside down crazy pants land in 2016. And so I felt like it was time for me to do something a little bit crazy pants myself. So I left my job with $4,000 in the bank and 6 weeks notice, and frankly, I've never looked back. So like I said, now I go all over helping people tell their stories. And really, there's no one who couldn't use the benefit of being able to tell their stories better. I have worked with girls who've been sex trafficked. I've worked with faculty and clergy. I've worked with women who are ready to launch out and start their own businesses. Storytelling definitely has therapeutic benefits, but it also has very specific life skills and job readiness skills. That's why we're here tonight. This project has been a year in the making. I've been in deep conversations with the people at Chris 180 about how storytelling can benefit the young folks here. So, Shelter in Place has been a labor of love. We've been working hard this week, y'all. And that's why now I'd like to introduce my colleague, Tendiwe, to talk about all we've been up to this week. Hey, Tendiwe.
Hey, Shannon. How's it going?
Oh my gosh, I am so tired. We have been working so hard this week.
Oh, yes, we have. I need a nap.
Same. But you know who's been working harder? Our storytellers.
Absolutely. They have dug in the process, and I'm so proud of them.
It's been magical to watch their stories come to life.
Absolutely. So much fun to watch.
It's also been magical for me to see what you all do here at Chris 180.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. At the spot at Chris 180, we are a drop-in center, and we provide critical needs to a very, very vulnerable population of emerging adults between the ages of 16 and 26. Working together with them and StoryMuse has just been wonderful.
Yeah, it sure has. I can't wait for everybody to see their stories.
Absolutely.
So, with that, let's have a good show.
Let's do it.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Kilcrease. I'm 21 and I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. My godmother was someone that meant a lot in my life. She taught me 3 very valuable, important lessons that I still carry with me to this day. One of them was learning how to forgive people, knowing that you're going to get hurt a lot in life. Another was loving yourself unconditionally. I've had to take that lesson with me throughout my whole entire life as I grow up to be this beautiful woman that I am. Another one was, hurt people hurt people. Being affected, and I've soon to come to learn that lesson dealing with exes and sometimes family and friends. I remember the time when I first told my godmother that I was molested. It was a hard day, went up the street. She used to stay down the street from my dad. So, on a typical day, that's where my days would be spent. I went, I was like, Mom, I want to talk to you. She was like, okay, baby, what's up? I was like, Mom, I was molested when I was younger. She was like, oh my God, are you okay? So it took me about an hour after I initially told her that portion to really come back and tell her what had happened. Finally, I came back like an hour or two later. I was like, Mom, I'm ready to talk about it. She was like, okay, let's sit down. So we sit down, I get to talking. I was like, well, it was midnight. My brother had called me into the room and he asked did I want to play. After I went into the room, he closed the door behind me, and what happened after that is something that drastically changed my life over and over again. Being the fact that it changed my life mentally, physically, and emotionally. A few months down the line, I moved up to Georgia, and we were on mostly a talk everyday basis. And after time went on, conversations and talks slowly started to dim down. It had got to a point where we were still talking, but it was more so like 2 calls every week. And so it was a Tuesday, and that was the last call I made to her. Last thing I heard from her was she was up in North Carolina visiting my god sister. Weeks had gone by. I got busy. I had thought, and she got busy. It wasn't until a year later after I found out that she's been missing. After that, it was like when I found out, it was just like a whole turmoil for me. I lost my confidant, my person who I could really open up to. Time went on. She still remains missing to this day. There has been no new updates, no sightings of her whatsoever. And so, dealing with that, it teaches you how to love who you have in your life while you can, to learn to love them unconditionally. Because you never know what may happen or what may go on in their personal life that can cause them to be gone the next day.
Hi, my name is Sam. I am 27 years old and I am from Bucharest, Romania. I was at home one morning in my room playing video games, and I looked down at my phone and because I heard it ringing, and my friend had called and asked if I wanted to go to Gallenberg for vacation, and I had graciously accepted and told her yes, I would love that. We talked for a little bit, and after we talked, I had started packing up my suitcase, and because it was my first adventure I was gonna be going on. I know it was gonna be very short, but it was gonna be awesome and fun. I grew up in Romania. I was 3 years old when my parents passed away, but it was in Romania when I was a little kid. I didn't get to go out as much due to the fact because I was in an orphanage. I have always dreamed of going ice skating as a little kid, just never had the chance. When I was in Gallenberg, it was a good opportunity for me to experience the sites and museums and everything while we were there. We took a tour of the aquariums and all the restaurants around Gallenberg. I had asked her if we could go ice skating. So she paid for skates, I put them on, and I went on the ice. Ice skating is kind of scary at first, and I would keep falling, and I would get up, and we do my steps, retrace my steps. So when I finally got the hang of it, I was like, yay, I'm doing it. It's actually pretty good to be on the ice because you feel free. The longest journey of my life was me traveling from Romania to Georgia, and when I was a very young child. The shortest adventure of my life was going to Gatlinburg and expanding my possibilities. The journey of a single step is putting my foot out on the ice. And that is what I hope to do over and over again.
Hi, I'm Kathy Colbinson, President and CEO of Chris 180. Our Chris 180 team has been out on the front lines as mental health first responders since the COVID-19 crisis hit our community. And today, I'm asking for your help to keep it going, to help us provide critical services. On the west side, we're providing meals and food distribution to vulnerable residents who have nowhere to turn in this difficult time. On the east side and south side, we're delivering food boxes directly to people's homes to help families. Our community health workers are going door to seniors and those with health problems, making sure that they have the medicine, the food, and the access to resources that so many of us take for granted. Our foster homes and apartment complex are open, giving children and youth with no family but us a safe place to feel comforted and supported during this time of heightened anxiety and fear. And our drop-in center for homeless young adults is making sure that those who live on the streets have a clean, safe place to go during the day. Chris 180's counseling centers across Metro Atlanta are open to provide critical mental health services and support through telehealth for people who need someone to talk to as they deal with fear, anxiety, and stress. I couldn't be more proud of the Chris 180 team who are on the front line and on the streets. These men and women aren't just providing therapy and life skills, they're providing life support, and in many cases, bringing food from our Chris 180 pantry. Friends, the need is so great in our community. Chris 180 needs your help today to continue. Every dollar you give will help us feed more families, give more young adults a safe place, and provide critical counseling for months to come. Please consider giving today at chris180.org. No amount is too small, no amount is insignificant. Every gift helps us to change lives in this heartbreaking, challenging time. People need us, our community needs us, and we need you. Thank you.
My name is Kezia Woods. I'm 25 years old and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. On December 7th, 1994, I was born. As a child, as a baby, as a toddler, and also as a teenager, I went through a lot of abuse from my parents, especially my dad. At the age of 18, I had my last physical fight with my dad. And he came in the room and he was mad about something that happened earlier in the day, and he started beating me and hitting me. And my brother got him off of me, but I was banged up afterwards. I left home and went to Job Corps for a whole entire year and got a trade in the office and also my high school diploma from Penn Foster High School. Then after that, I came back home and endured a whole lot more abuse from my parents, especially once again my dad. We had a lot of physical and a lot of verbal fights. I left home and went to the homeless shelter down in Columbus, Georgia. And there I met a lot of women that went through the same stuff that I went through. So we were able to talk through it and get through it together. I ended up at my grandmother's house down in Phoenix City, Alabama. And that didn't work out because I didn't want to listen to her rules and what she had in place, regulations at her house. So after that, I ended up leaving there. And it was back to the homeless shelter in Columbus, Georgia. I was on the streets for a whole entire year. So about 3 months after I was in the in the street, I met this dude, and I thought he was really nice at first. He took me in, he took care of me and everything, made sure I had what I needed. So not too long after that, we ended up dating each other, and he sexually took advantage of me. So after that, I was on the streets for 9 more months. I came to Villa Rica, Georgia, and ended up in a psychiatric mental facility for a whole week. In that week, and one day, I tried to kill myself 3 times. One morning, I was in the bathroom doing my hair, getting ready for the day, and I had a knife. So I ended up trying to slit my wrist, and the nurse came in, and they put me on suicide watch for the whole rest of the week. I ended up at Chris 180, and I've been here for almost 2 years now. In November of last year, I got an internship working at the counseling center and working at C-Check over there, in that building over there. And it's really been a really good experience for me to get experience under my belt so that I can get the job that I really want, which is an executive office assistant. One thing I can say about this story is I cannot take away any of the negative and the bad things that happened to me, but I can add the good to it. This is the story of Maria. When Maria was little, she was told her lips were too big, that she was dumb, and that she was never going to be anything in life. She walked around with the rain cloud over her head. She pushed away everyone that tried to love her. Then one day, Maria began to surround herself with positive people. She found a place called The Spot, and she started to believe in herself. Whenever she is feeling stressed or depressed, she listens to gospel music to make her feel better. Self-love equals self-care. What do you do to make yourself feel better when you are depressed or down? Do you write, paint, sing, or meditate? Self-love comes in many forms. Be like Maria. Find the way that works for you.
Hello, my name is Christopher Oakley. I'm 24 years old. I'm from Loganville, Georgia, and this is the story of my transition from Loganville to Atlanta. I grew up in Loganville most of my childhood, and I had fun there. My favorite pizza place is there. I graduated there. All my friends lived there, and I felt safe there. But at 21, my mom thought it'd be a good idea for me to move to Atlanta to branch out. So I moved to Atlanta. And I didn't really like the city because I'm a country boy. So it was a rough transition. But I remember one incident that made me really not like the city. I was on the bus going to work, and there was a homeless person who needed help. She got on the bus and she needed a bus fare. No one wanted to help her. No one seemed to care. People were making like snide remarks like she's smelly, she needs to hurry up. Even the bus driver got in on it. And it made me really darken my heart and just see the city as kind of a mean place. After the incident, I kind of grew to hate the city, but over time I made a friend. I developed some hobbies, and I learned to kind of block out that memory and try to like the city a bit more. And my goal is to one day ultimately like the city again and see it for what it is, not what it was that on that day.
My name's Richard Lofton. I'm 25 years old. I'm from Marietta, Georgia. Once I was in high school, in the 11th grade, I was in the hallway. And me and my friend were talking back and forth, getting angry with each other, talking smack to each other. And we started to throw punches and get angry at each other. I guess it all started on April 5th, 2004, when I first got adopted. The emotions and the feelings were, I guess, uncontrollable. And I had been in 56 foster homes in total, and I guess the anger was just getting out of control by then. And so when I got home, my mother sat me down and told me that I didn't need to. She couldn't keep doing this because every time she got in trouble, she had to stop what she was doing and come and pick me up and make sure. I went up to my room a couple hours later, sat down, started thinking about it, and I knew this was the moment when I realized everything had to change. I couldn't keep getting angry for little things to make things bigger than what they really were. I didn't want to be angry anymore, but I wanted to make sure that I could live my life.
My name is Pierre Moore. They call me Smitty. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I'm 26 years old, and this is my story of unconditional love. Growing up in Baltimore City, I never really had much. It was a hard place. And being in this hard place, it taught you how to love hard, how to think hard, and how to play hard. Also, it taught you that nobody can really be trusted. So, growing up, thinking like that, I never really thought love was unconditional. Most of the time, people always put some type of value on love. And I used to think that way. So around 21, I thought to myself, I said, I'm gonna start traveling. So when I thought to myself, I'm gonna start traveling, I was like, I don't care where I go. So one day, I just turned on the TV and I was watching hip hop. I was watching Love and Hip Hop of Atlanta. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go to Atlanta. Now when I moved out to Atlanta, Georgia, it was kind of rocky at first, but then I got the hang of things. I got, in the groove. Next thing you know, I met this angel. She was blessed. When I first met her, it was like, dang, I seen everything that I wanted just right seeing her. The story is that one day, me and my friends, we was acting like hooligans, and they had called the security guards on us. When they called security guards on us, she was one of the security guards. I couldn't stop looking at her. I was like, dang, this woman is beautiful. But something went off in my head and I was like, I gotta talk to this girl. I gotta talk to her. I gotta know her name. So I ran up to the guard booth and I asked her for her number. So around April, we started getting closer and closer. And I started noticing how she just break things down, how she break walls down. She'll break barriers down. She had broke down how I don't trust people, how I don't like certain things. And she just tried to bring more fun and joy into my life. So she takes me swimming. If anybody know me, one thing Pierre and I get in the pool. Like this is not happening. You feel me? I might walk around with swim shoes on, but I'm not swimming. Even if we go to a beach, all that, I'm not swimming. So she like, no, babe, come on. I'm like, no, I'm scared. I'm good. She was like, no, come on. So when I got in the water, I was so scared. I'm holding the wall. I'm pacing. I'm trying not to go too far deep into the middle. She like, no, babe, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. You in 3 feet, you can stand up. I'm like, no, I can't stand up in 3 feet. She like, just hold on to me. Once she said, just hold on to me, we started floating. When we started floating, I'm like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. So she grabbed me real tight. She say, why you still shaking? I said, I'm still scared. She said, don't worry about that. So next thing you know, now I'm floating in the pool. I'm okay. I'm okay. So, when a person loves you just unconditionally, and they love you for you, no matter what's going on, no matter, if you up or if you down, even if sometimes we try to push people away because we feel like we don't fit into that circle or we don't fit into that design, that love that's unconditional is so real. You cannot get that, or put a value on that. You can't get that just from anybody. Somebody have to be taught love and love their self, to love somebody unconditional. I'm pretty sure she's probably not gonna come to the drive-in and see this, but this is all dedicated to her because she changed my whole outlook on love. Even if I feel like, even when I have dark, rainy days, as long as I can hold her and she says something that make me smile, it's a good day. So this is why I'm telling my story. Thank you.
Hey, friend. Hey, friend. I know you just not gonna walk past me without saying hi.
Hey, I'm sorry. I'm just in my own world.
You in your own world? You look me right in the face. Let me find out you being shady.
How do I tell them that I'm visually impaired?
I honestly didn't see your face. But you blind or something? Well, not everyone with a visual impairment walks around with sunglasses or a cane. There are different types. Face blindness or light sensitivity. I have retinoschisis. You have what? It's an eye disorder that means it's hard for me to see certain fonts from far away or pick up slight facial expressions.
Oh, so when I looked at you with attitude, you didn't even notice it?
Exactly.
Okay, it makes sense. So everyone with a disability doesn't always look like they have a disability.
Right, so don't always assume.
You're right, I shouldn't assume. So what can I do right now to be a better friend?
Well, when you see me out in public, just get my attention, wave me down, call my name. Or when we're having a conversation, just tell me how you're feeling.
I'll be sure to do that. But it's gonna be really hard to not throw shade now.
Oh, well, I'm sure you'll find a way.
You know I will.
I'll see you, friend. Take care. All right.
Hey, I'm Ivan DeBoer, and I'm from Woodbury, Georgia, and here's my story. It all started with 2 garbage bags full of stuff, full of my clothes and belongings, because I decided to leave my home in search of freedom. I didn't feel heard or even cared about it at times. It was my senior year in high school, and I was selling candy to get by because it wasn't as easy for me to get a job. I have a visual impairment called retinoschisis, so it wasn't like I could just go to McDonald's because couldn't work the registers as easily, you know. So while I'm still a senior in high school, I sold candy and commuted from Atlanta to school. And in school, Creekside High, which I refer to as the Wild Wild West, I have my good deputy, Miss Saunders, and the, I guess you would say, the disciplinarian, Miss Cooks. Miss Saunders understood my situation, tried to help, gave advice, and pitched in when she and others could. Even teachers were buying stuff from me. Miss Cooks, on the other hand, when I would be caught in the act of selling candy, just would confiscate all the candy and just write me up. But I don't think that was really solving the problem. One day while I was in the cafeteria, I saw my sister and we were, talking. I wasn't staying at home at the time, so when I was here, we'll be at school. And lo and behold, Miss Cooks is right behind me saying, "Ivan, let me look in that bag." Now, it was told to me that you had to be caught in the act to have to turn over your stuff. So since I was just walking, I kept walking. "Ivan, give me your stuff." Still wasn't listening, talking to my sister. But when I heard, "I have a student trying to get away, I need backup," I knew it was up. So I gave her my bag, she confiscated it, and I went to the principal's office. He not only found out that I was selling candy, but also didn't stay in the school district, so I had to go. I got expelled. And on that walk of shame back to class, I ran into my good deputy, Miss Saunders, and burst into tears. I felt like her efforts had been wasted and all that she and others invested in me was just all for naught. Luckily, she spoke to the principal on my behalf, and a week later, I was able to get back in school.
and later went on to graduate and went and got my degree in fashion merchandising and got a certification in yoga. And if it's anything I think this story has taught me is that money shouldn't be tied solely to your survival, but to your purpose.
Ready. I'm sorry, I'm so geeky. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, y'all.
You guys ready?
Whenever
All right.
you're ready, yeah.
All right, here we go. I was nervous, but okay.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
No, otherwise it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Me and this mic go fight.